flat Earth. This is not a test, this is an important emergency. Your government has enslaved and lied to you. The Earth we live on is not a round sphere as you've all been taught. The Earth is a flat geocentric plane. And we are all living in an enclosed system that no human or continental citizen could or will ever escape. Your government currently owns you, all the schools, churches and religious items and books of fictional stories to increase the wealth of all satanic and demonic leaders of the Freemason and New World Order society. So believe nothing and trust nobody. You, the person or people watching this televised program, are all individual children of the Lord, living in God's creation surrounded by angels and demons. WHO are controlled by darkness and light.
All radio stations and television networks cease their programs during this alert. Please stand by. Please stand by. Please stand by.
Welcome to Flat Earth, the real Earth. The Earth is a firmament, and the only way out is death. Their plan is to use us for money, then depopulate to exterminate and kill us all. On this flat, hollow Earth, our only goal is to save our souls from being reincarnated back to this third dimension. This is not a test, this is an important...
Ladies and gentlemen,
blinded by science, I'm on the run. Blinded by science, do I belong? In the future, has it just begun? Blinded by science, I'm on the run. I worry about the world that we live in. I worry by all the confusion. About the lies I'm reading, I wonder where this madness is
God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light.
The first time I saw sonoluminescence was in a darkened room. I was transfixed to look at this spherical flask of fluid.
And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the water,
A tiny spot of bright light contained in a flask of liquid.
And you look into the center, and in the center see a glowing blue-purple light, which could be seen with the unaided eye.
This star in a jar is made when a sound wave is passed through a small bubble inside a flask of liquid. And this sound wave, and this sound wave.
And God said,
And this collapse happens so violently that vapor molecules trapped inside the bubble slam together and heat up so much that the bubble gives off an incredible burst of heat and light, several thousand times a second, giving the appearance of...
For 20 generations, people believed that the Earth was round because there was a globe in every classroom they sat in. The short version of the discovery is this. By 1958, the military had discovered the very solid upper and outer edges of our world and had to create a way to put up do not enter signs without looking obvious. It was tricky, but if there's one thing I have learned about the authority, it's that nothing is left to chance. Most of the work had already been done for them, so their job was primarily in the details. The sky part of the dome was much higher than commercial air traffic, so the only thing they had to worry about there was the space program, which is immediately militarized. The outer border had the natural benefit of not only an extensive ocean, but a scaling decrease in temperature and a steady increase in iceberg frequency to discourage ships, all leading to a permanently frozen landmass that could not be used for any form of agriculture. This ocean and ice layout had worked well for thousands of years because the technology of the current civilization didn't evolve quickly. Sailors avoided cold weather seas whenever possible, and oxygen levels get low enough to harm people, even on high mountains. The brilliance of the design comes in the simple fact that human males are corrupted by power. Corruption so total, in fact, that they would rather hide the world itself rather than risk their power on it. You could theorize that kings and popes were told of the world a long time ago, maybe an ancient scroll or book. Perhaps an interdimensional being told the tale of what the world looked like. But this was all but dismissed because even the most powerful leaders of the day couldn't reach the borders. And if they couldn't, what chance did the general public have? It's one thing to be told of the giant impenetrable dome, but it's a whole different animal when you finally stand right next to it. Then the tough decisions have to be made. Do we keep the secret? And how far are we willing to go to keep the status quo? Once they decided to keep the secret, no expense was spared. The rapid progression of rocketry science had to be addressed quickly, and so the moon missions were created.
Humanity, our feet is in, it's time to say goodbye. The party's over as the laughter dies. An angel cries, humanity, it's au revoir to your insanity. You sold your soul to feed your vanity, your fantasies and lies. You're a drop in the rain, just a number, not a name. And you don't see it, you don't believe it.
You look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it.
Look! It's much more relevant and entertaining to explain it in modern terms. We start with a press conference by, let's say, the United Nations, who have discovered that the world is indeed enclosed in a giant high-tech dome of unknown origin and age. The public reacts with wonder and awe, trying to take in the sheer scope of this announcement. Facebook crashes, Twitter crashes, entire mobile networks crash. It's like hitting a beehive with a sledgehammer. News organizations around the world send teams to the outer edge to confirm the finding, and the general public is glued to their media devices. That's the good news, the excitement, the revelation, the positive shock. Then the bad news starts coming in waves, some of which you might not expect. The first is the immediate disbanding of NASA and all other world space programs, for obvious reasons. Most governments will secretly pardon these groups and keep them immune from class action lawsuits, the lawsuits themselves coming from NASA investment groups, claiming fraud. Regardless, Everyone at NASA, despite their good intentions, is out of a job overnight. And this is where you would say, good, they deserve it. About time they stopped lying to everyone. Oh, but it doesn't stop there, because every contractor and subcontractor that are exclusively tied to NASA, they have to shut down as well. Fine, a few thousand jobs lost, no big deal. And the ripples continue to spread.
We were cut off from the rest of the world by a mysterious dome. Invisible, indestructible, and completely inescapable.
Day 93 under the dome. What started as impolite behavior has devolved into a homicidal free-for-all, once seen only in inexpensive NASA.
Let's ransack a government building!
And the reasoning is this. If you've been looking at the ceiling for decades and couldn't tell it was a ceiling, then what good are you? Every university in the world that has an astronomy or astrophysics program, well, they don't anymore. Stephen Hawking, his book writing days are over. Carl Sagan, no more Nova in syndication, I guarantee it. Those professors are going to have to retool their skills and be prepared to answer one giant question. How did you not see it? Weren't there clues? People start finger pointing, and it will continue for years. And still my fellow flat earthers will say, well, hell, that doesn't sound too bad. So some nerds around the world lose their jobs. So what? You don't get off that easy, is what? The finger pointing at the now defunct NASA will then turn to finger pointing at the government, who directed the whole thing. This is where we run into some dangerous ground, involving things like the Ark of the Covenant, the Holy Grail, and the Ring of Power.
Humans, for the most part, don't have a clue. They don't want one or need one either. They're happy. They think they have a good bead on things.
Well, why the big secret? People are smart. They can handle it.
A person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it. 1,500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was the center of the universe. 500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was flat. And 15 minutes ago, you knew that people were alone on this planet.
Imagine what you know tomorrow.
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
A group of social criminals, these people in the space program. Nassholes, I'd call them.
And some of those people actually still believe the Earth is flat. So if a few of them want to believe that we didn't go to the moon, let them. It's not an issue that comes up in my presentation.
The Earth being flat, that's clearly ridiculous. Though I've actually been contacted by some flat earthers saying I'm covering up the fact that it's some Atlantean conspiracy.
Oh, of course, if I say flat Earth, then I gotta be an idiot, right? That's what they told you, right? It's a ball. There's no Antarctica in this.
It's cold out here.
Yeah, it is. It's like the South Pole.
It's like the deep South Pole, if there was one. There isn't, though.
What the hell is that?
It's where you've been living this whole time.
The legislature recognized that there is a debate about whether the Earth is round or flat. No. And let's encourage critical thinking by saying there should be a legitimate debate between whether the Earth is round or flat. Because after all, any idiot can walk outside and see that it's flat.
This is very important, what we're fighting for. Because I'm tired, I'm really tired of the manipulation. They do not tell the truth, they're lying. To manipulate our history books. The history books are not true, it's a lie. That's like my home. The history books are lying. You need to know that. You must know that.
Asteroid Santa Claus kicks and deals. It's a long fly ball going back. And the ball shatters the sky, bringing the ocean itself down into the stadium. Oh, Simpson just broke this dream's reality wide open.
There's some comedians making jokes tonight, but I want to talk about the joke that's on you.
The German cartographer, Mercator, originally designed this map in 1569 as a navigational tool for European sailors. The map enlarges areas at the poles to create straight lines of constant bearing or geographic direction.
So it makes it easier to cross an ocean.
But
yes,
it distorts the relative size of nations and continents.
Are you saying the map is wrong?
Oh dear, yes. Look at Greenland.
Okay.
Now look at Africa.
Okay.
The two land masses appear to be roughly the same size.
Yes.
Would it blow your mind if I told you that Africa is in reality 14 times larger?
Yes? Here we have Europe, drawn considerably larger than South America. When it's 6.9 million square miles, South America is almost double the size of Europe's 3.8 million.
Alaska appears 3 times as large as Mexico, when Mexico is larger by 0.1 million square miles.
Germany appears in the middle of the map when it's in the northernmost quarter of the Earth.
Wait. Relative size is one thing, but you're telling me that Germany isn't where we think it is?
Nothing's where you think it is.
Where is it?
I'm glad you asked.
Mr. Armstrong, Bart Sibrel, ABC Digital. Wanted to give you the opportunity to swear in the Bible that you walked on the moon. You have $5,000 cash. You can give it to charity if you swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon.
Please,
I have the tape.
That'd be fine.
Why don't you swear to... Why not? Why won't you do it?
I mean, it's proof right there. This is an official NASA photo of the first Apollo 11 lunar module landing on the moon. I mean, it's right there. This is proof, man. It's the picture's right there. It's landing on the moon. But the only problem I have with this picture is that it's taken from the moon. I don't know what the big deal was with being the first guy on the moon. It seems the camera crew was already there.
Hey, all right, do you see Photoshop?
All the prophets give their prophecies for the end of days. We are already in Acharit Hayamim, more than 20 years already. Everything they told you is for this world. We're lucky that Hashem said there are 2 conditions for Mashiach. One, prior to schedule when you deserve it. Second one, whether you deserve it, whether you don't deserve it, in the end, it must come. But not for everyone. Before Mashiach would come, Ishmael and his children, which is the Arabs, will give the Jews the worst time in their history. Like it cannot be any worse than that. And we can see now what they're doing in the world. We saw what happened 2 days ago. They took this Jew and slaughtered him like you slaughter a chicken. These people do not have even 1% of mercy. Hundreds of millions of them do not rest for 1 minute, and their plan is to destroy all Jews. 2/3 of the world, which is billions of people, trying to destroy this tiny nation, the nation of Israel that have only 13.2 million Jews. Just before the Mashiach would come, before we digest the problem from the morning, already a new problem comes in the afternoon. There's not going to be a moment of rest. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu would bring all the people before Mashiach come on their knees, one way or the other. Whether they want it, whether they don't want it, they're going to have to surrender. If they will get saved. And if they won't, open Zechariah 14, Zachary 14, and describe how the end of the world going to be. Oh, no, I don't have to describe it to you. Open the Tanakh in English. Zachary 14, read the whole page. It describes a nuclear war. Everybody's going to melt. The skin, people would drown. Nobody would be able to save anyone. People's eyes would melt out. Horrible things. It's going to call Goku Magog. What do you think is going to save you? Your college degree? How many millions you have in your account? What kind of car you drive? How great of the doctor you are? How genius you are in computers? How handsome or pretty you are? Do you think that's going to save you in those days? Everything will be worthless. Now, if we're going to get to such a day, God forbid, the question is, what's the chance that we're going to get saved? The Savior is coming to save who? Itzik with the earring and the ponytail and the tattoos, naked walking on the street? For the women who goes naked with high heels like this all the way from here to the ceiling? The Gemara explained very carefully that to get saved from the horrible days that will be in a war, and we already started it, if you don't see it with this ISIS, what's happening in all over the world right now, the Gemara says the world will be in a disaster state. Who is going to get saved? רק מי שיש בידו 2 things. Torah and גמילות חסדים. Torah and kindness. Hashem gave 2 ways to get saved from the problems in the days of Mashiach. Chevlei Mashiach. The contractions before the shofar of Eliyahu Hanavi will be heard in the world. What does it mean, kindness? Torah, we understand what it means. What does it mean, gmilut chasadim? Gmilut chasadim is taking care of the poor, the widows, the orphans, poor family for the holidays, all kinds of things, helping here, helping there. When a person is getting involved and doing for others, when Mashiach comes, Hashem will be forced to do special miracles for this person. Everything is measure for measure. Midah keneged midah. You cared about others, you took your time and your money to help others. I am forced to go out of my way to help you in a time of problem. This is the way I'm judging everyone. Midah keneged midah. You love me, you're connected to me, you always trusted me, you gave up money for me, I'll do everything for you. When Hashem writes in the Torah, I will reward you for eternity, is it worth it to keep Shabbat for this eternity? Of course. Is it worth to be generous? Of course. The more you give, the more you take. Whatever you give, Hashem wrote in the Torah that whatever you give from what you have to others is actually wiring it to your eternal life. So technically, a clever person should have given everything he has just to keep what he must have to survive. And everything he should wire to Olam Haba. Here, Mr. Learner, learn more Torah. Here is $1,000 a month. You don't have tefillin? Here is tefillin. You cannot afford bar mitzvah for your son? Here is tefillin, here is bar mitzvah, we'll buy the one, whatever. This is how a person prepares his Olam Haba. Not building, buying, running, want to occupy the whole world.
The whores, the liars, the cheats, and the deserters, it's always the same thing. You know who I am now, yes?
Take me.
I intend to.
No, take me instead. I deserve this.
You don't believe that.
Yes. Yeah, I do. I should never have left. It's my fault. It's all my fault.
You think you can make some kind of bargain?
Take me instead, please.
Stop saying that!
I value your thoughts. Share them with me.
You think this will make you good? You're not good.
I know.
You think you can make up for the choices you made?
No.
You think you can be forgiven?
As you wish. It is enough that we are alone together. Just the two of us.
A man's destiny is often not what it seems.
I understand that, sir. I do. I understand that, but I have a feeling about this one, you know.
At some unknown point in time, war breaks out in heaven. The Bible says, and war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought with the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought. But they did not prevail, nor was there a place found for them in heaven any longer. So the great dragon was cast out, that serpent of old, called the devil and Satan, who deceives the whole world. He was cast to the earth, and his angels were cast out with him.
You've stolen my dreams away.
All things change, lady. The dreams of youth are the regrets of maturity. Dreams are my speciality. Through dreams, I influence mankind.
How you have fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning. How you are cut down to the ground, you who weaken the nations. For you have said in your heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will also sit on the mountain of the congregation, on the farthest sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet you shall be brought down to Sheol, to the lowest depths of the pit.
My dream is of eternity with you.
Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walks around like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour.
You have no idea what now is. Now I was flying. Now I breathed fire, and I ate them as they fled. Now I whipped my tail, and the winds trembled. Now I am hidden in this pale shade of flesh and bone. Now I am witness to man's eternal salvation. Now I am witness to his demise.
Satan is on the earth, searching for people to devour, like this person, Job. He will be cast out to hell, though. Then he will also say to those on the left hand, Depart from me, you cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. Hell is not ruled by Satan, but it was originally made for him and his angels, not for humans, to be punished.
Do not speak to me of time, demon. Its simplest ebbs and turns elude your meager understanding.
Those who see you will gaze at you and consider you, saying, "Is this the man who made the earth tremble, who shook the kingdoms, who made the whole world as a wilderness and destroyed its cities, who did not open the house of its prisoners?"
Find another way, now!
Satan also has angels, originally created by God, who now follow him. These angels appear to be good, just like their master. And no wonder, for Satan himself transforms himself into an angel of light. Satan, still on the earth today, is called the adversary and the deceiver. He appears to be very beautiful and appealing, and in that way he deceives many. Anyone who follows in Satan's footsteps, to sin, to love their own life more than God, will end up in the same place that Satan will.
If I say that the world is round and someone else says it's flat, that's worth reporting.
I'm so tired of being here, suppressed by all my childish fears. And if you have to leave, I wish that you would just leave, 'cause your presence still lingers here, and it won't leave me alone. These wounds won't seem to heal. This pain is just too real. There's just too much that time cannot erase. When you cried, I'd wipe away all of your tears. When you scream, I'd fight away all of your fears. And I held your hand through all of these years, but you still to captivate me by your resonating light. Now I'm bound by the life you left behind. Your face, it haunts my once pleasant dreams. Your voice, it chased away all the sanity in me. These wounds won't seem to heal. This pain is just too real. There's just too much that time cannot erase. When you cried, I'd wipe away all of your tears. When you'd scream, I'd fight away all of your fears. And I held your hand through all of these years, but you still
is essentially a flat Earth, say a disk, covered by a dome. And we call this in English a firmament. And in the firmament is where all the stars and the planets were hung.
Almost all ancient cultures believed their universe existed in a dome similar to this one.
When I was young, and sat beside me, my only son. Listen closely to what I say. And if you do this, it'll help.
And they never questioned
some sunny day.
of the Flat Earth Society. 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 Flat Earth Society.
Strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole on the other side of the South Pole from Middle America.
6,919,377,000 of us live on this tiny planet, and only a few of us can see the connections. The patterns, mathematical in design, are hidden in plain sight. Just have to know where to look.
A 49-year-old unidentified man went berserk last night.
Where did she get her view of the world?
Shotgun. 14 people are dead, including 3
Who will
children.
be her role model? What values will she have? Whose child is she? Yours or the network's? Take back your children.
This is good.
Your living room is the factory. The product being manufactured is you.
What makes you itch? What sort of a situation would you like? Let's suppose I do this often in vocational guidance of students. They come to me and say, well, we're getting out of college and we haven't the faintest idea what we want to do. So I always ask the question, what would you like to do if money were no object? How would you really enjoy spending your life? If you say that getting the money is the most important thing, you will spend your life completely wasting your time. You'll be doing things you don't like doing in order to go on living, that is, to go on doing things you don't like doing, and to teach your children to follow in the same track. See, what we're doing is we're bringing up children, educating them, who
live the same sort of lives we live, in order that they may justify themselves and find satisfaction in life by bringing up their children, to bring up their children to do the same thing.
We all know it's a flat, right?
Of course it's flat. Sure, I know the world is flat.
Well, so do I. Everybody knows that.
For hundreds of millions of years, the climate of the Earth has been changing. You know that.
But not at the level and the degree that it is changing right now. What scientists are
have the humility to... I don't understand.
Look, I'm the one who's having humility. I'm saying we should have a debate here. You guys are saying that the debate is
How about we just listen to scientists?
That's what I'm saying. Listen to scientists. Have the humility to believe people who know things you don't.
The events of recent weeks may have helped to illuminate that challenge for some, but the dimensions of its threat have loomed large on the horizon for many years. Whatever our hopes may be for the future, for reducing this threat or living with it, there is no escaping either the gravity or the totality of its challenge to our survival and to our security.
People like you guys who are saying, no, we can't have a debate on this.
The debate is over. At some point, the debate has to be...
You're the one should have some humility. Say, wait a minute, there are a lot of people who disagree.
Should we still debate whether the Earth is flat?
Yeah.
No, I'm asking you. You're saying every debate should go on. That's not how science works. At some point, you reach its consensus and you debate the next issue. The next issue being, how do we deal with it?
A challenge that confronts us in unaccustomed ways in every sphere of human activity. This deadly challenge imposes upon our society two requirements of direct concern, both to the press and to the President. Two requirements that may seem almost contradictory in tone, but which must be reconciled and fulfilled if we are to meet this national peril.
The problem is that we're taught as children, this ball earth lie. And, you might ask as a child, what about the people in Australia? They're standing on the bottom of the globe, won't they fall off? And your teacher says, no, gravity. And you go, oh, okay. And you never go back to that question. But when you go back to it as an adult and start looking at it with a critical eye, right, the whole thing falls apart. As you say, the globe is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. Neil deGrasse Tyson, who's a leading astronomer in America, tells us that the Earth is not a perfect circle. It's actually an oblate spheroid. It's squashed and wider at the equator.
Scientists are wrong all the time.
I refer first to the need for far greater public information, and second, to the need for far greater official secrecy. The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings.
25 years ago, they thought the Earth was going to be overpopulated. Now birth rates have fallen very significantly.
The danger of this line of thought, which is heavily funded, by the way, by the oil companies.
Why do you keep saying that? I don't get any money from the oil.
I know you do. But the truth of the matter is, that the oil companies and the coal companies have spent tens of millions of dollars in a disinformation campaign.
Well,
that's a fact.
We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify them. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions.
It's also a fact that a lot of the scientists who are saying that there's global warming are getting billions of dollars in research.
Let's just leave it to the science. Yeah, I think we should leave it there.
Well, if you leave it to science, you must be on our side.
I am on your side on this.
Great.
It seems like Admiral Byrd found the edge of the dome, while he was out there. And as soon as he left there, they started firing missiles straight up, I believe, to try and test how far that dome went.
And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment.
The space shuttle goes horizontal. It never goes any further up. It goes horizontal, very, very low down in the atmosphere. Because it drops its external tank while it's still in the atmosphere. So, you know, it's still in the atmosphere while it's horizontal, so it never gets any higher. And it goes out of sight, not because it goes too high, because it goes too far downrange. And it seems that nobody's ever on the space shuttle. And the proof of that is the Challenger disaster. In, I believe it's 1986, the Challenger exploded just after takeoff and killed 7 astronauts. But it turns out that 6 of the astronauts are still alive, and most of them are using their original names. And you can find pictures of them. They're using the same names, and they're doing ordinary jobs now. Teachers, lecturers, lawyers, whatever. But they're still alive.
The highest spot on Earth is not Mount Everest, your book says. It's something else. What is it?
First, it's true not because my book says it, but simply because it's true. Okay, let's want to clarify that.
All right.
No, I mean, Earth, to the astrophysicist, we don't really care much about sea level. You want to be high, you're measuring your distance from the center of the Earth.
From the very center of the Earth.
Is that different from the center?
I'm trying to give it...
the very center of the Earth. I don't know how many centers you know of. Okay, the very center of the Earth.
The really very, very center.
Yes. So you want to find the farthest point from that center. And it turns out sea level at the equator is farther away from the center of the Earth than sea level near the poles. It has nothing to do with global warming and melting of the ice caps.
Why is that?
Because Earth but not only that, it's slightly wider below the equator than above the equator.
A little chubbier.
A little chubbier. Yeah. Chubby's a good way. It's like pear-shaped. Wait, but you gotta know, let me just so you understand. We've been fed a lie. I want to call it a lie. We've been fed...
It's a point of view thing, I think.
We've been fed a... Earth has been misrepresented to us by geologists. The depth of the ocean doesn't measure up to the depth of your fingerprint. That's my point. So we've been fed this misrepresentation of our own planet on the belief that in fact we have real surface features. But cosmically speaking, we're practically imperfect. So you spin, you know, when you spin pizza dough, it kind of flattens out. It gets wider in the middle. So Earth, throughout its life, even when it formed, it was spinning. And it got a little wider at the equator than it does at the poles.
A blade. A person dedicated to a life of religion or monasticism, especially a member of an order without religious vows or a lay member of a religious community. The child given up by its parents into the keeping or dedication of a religious order or house. Spheroid. A solid of revolution generated by rotating an ellipse about its major prolate or minor oblate axis.
Idea from the human mind can build cities. An idea can transform the world and rewrite all the rules. Which is why I have to steal it.
Never recreate from your memory, always imagine new places.
He's hiding something, and we need to find out what that is.
We gotta break out of here. Give him the kick. This was not a part of the plan! Wake me up! Wake me up!
They must have been founding members of the Flat Earth Society. They would not have believed that the world was round.
The Earth is flat. The Earth is flat.
Now, one of the iron rules of the world of business, education, entrepreneurship, that immediately flows from this new flat world platform is this: whatever can be done will be done.
We weren't able to shatter that highest, hardest glass ceiling this time, thanks to you. It's got about 18 million cracks in it.
I believe that God has given us a couple of markers to work from. I believe that. And so I have to believe that all of the knowledge that he's put into us to learn, he said, listen, take it and run with it. This is why I created you. I'm not sure that I can actually both. So you can't have one without the other, I don't think. I don't think you can have science
and let me just point out,
yes, darling.
4 members of the Republican Party who are running for president also do not believe in evolution.
Yes.
So if there was a gasp in the audience, it should be a bigger gasp.
Is the world flat?
Is the world flat?
Yes.
I don't know.
What do you think?
I never thought about it, Whoopi.
Yes, a mutiny. The captain thinks the world is round, see? But we all know it's a flat, right?
Of course it's flat.
Sure, I know the world is flat.
Well, so do I. Everybody knows that.
Good, good.
It may be hard to see tonight, but we are all standing under a glass ceiling right now.
There's only one question for you: will it be done by you or to you? That is the iron rule of the flat world. Whatever can be done will be done, because so many people now have so much communication and so many distributed tools of innovation that whatever will be done, whatever can be done, will be done.
And the light is shining through like never before, filling us all with the hope and the sure knowledge.
Is the world flat? I never thought about it.
You never thought about whether the world was round?
No, because but I'll tell you what I've thought about: how I'm going to feed my child,
well,
how I'm going to take care of my family. The world flat has never entered into, that has not been an important thing to me.
You'll teach your son, Jeffrey,
If my son, Jeffrey, asks me, is the world flat? I guess I will go.
You know, didn't one of us already work this question out?
Because my question was, if science tells us that the world is round, where would you negate that science? Well, let me get it out first. That science may say, okay, here's what we think has happened, and if you put your faith in the idea that the world is round, can we not also believe that part of that comes from the evolution?
You see, my group thinks the Earth is flat, but we know it's round, right? Yeah, right, sure, it's round.
Of course it's round.
If YouTube can be done, it will be done. Okay? If MySpace can be done, it will be done. If Facebook can be done, it will be done. And if you have an idea, promise me one thing: you won't wait. Because either it'll be done by you or to you. That is really the iron law of this world.
God gives us those kinds of markers. He gives us those kinds of markers, but there are things that he does say in the Bible that I take absolutely.
Yeah,
I believe it.
what about some of the Bible is certainly to be respected in a way. But what about some of the scientific things, like is the world flat or round, and do we get energy from the sun or something?
And those are those markers that God goes up, that I have a free will and I have a mind.
If your son says to you, Mom, is the world round or flat?
And I'll have to go back.
What town, sir? What town? Why, that's easy. Now there's the whole flat world as we know it.
Right before your surgery, I asked if you had packed your cell phone, and you said, which one?
When? Skylar, I was medicated. I mean, I could have said the world was flat.
You know what I think? I think you accidentally told the truth.
Should we continue?
Uh-huh.
Well, it's official. The obscure planet known as Earth...
Good morning, family. Oh, do I smell bacon?
Yes, we discovered a species of tiny pig off the coast of New Australia about 30 yards east.
Or 300 yards west.
We'd offer you some, but we hunted it to extinction for breakfast.
Well, I thought I'd walk to the South Pole and do a little bit of exploring. If you guys need me, just yell. Or throw something so hard that it goes around the world and hits me.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest.
So, you're probably wondering what all of this has to do with social equality.
No, I'm wondering where France really is.
Guys, we want to thank you very much for coming in.
Hang on, we're gonna finish this.
What do maps have to do with social equality, you ask?
She asked.
Salvatore Natoli of the National Council for Social Studies argues, in our society, we unconsciously equate size with importance and even power.
And if you're still not getting it, then I'll ask you directly. If you actually saw some of the creators' handiwork and knew that there was a chance you were being watched, and there was a scorecard involved, would you swear against that and lie about something?
South Pole discovered, baby! Oh!
Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farm. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps.
When third world countries are misrepresented, they're likely to be valued less. When Mercator maps exaggerate the importance of Western civilization, when the top of the map is given to the Northern Hemisphere, and the bottom is given to the Southern, then people will tend to adopt top and bottom attitudes.
And we all take on the same approach in daily life. Everyone who drives has run a stoplight. We know when we see the yellow light that it's too far away, so we hit the gas and hope for the best, especially if the traffic is light and we aren't putting anyone in danger. But you take that very same intersection and put a red light camera on it, well, then things change, don't they? Do you hit the gas and roll the dice? Not a chance. You hit the brakes and hope that you can stop in time because you are being watched. You may not be a model driver by any sense of the word, but you understand this rule and this place, and you don't break it. And
Oh! An ice cave? Things just keep on getting better. Wow, it's the planet's core.
And this is what we are faced with. And this is the reality now.
But wait, where else could you put the Northern Hemisphere but on the top?
On the bottom.
How?
Like this.
would you roll those dice and take the chance? Or to put it another way, everyone has gotten frustrated about something, then looked up and cursed the sky. Would you still do that if you knew that a creator was up there and possibly listening?
Yeah, but you can't do that.
Why not?
Because it's freaking me out.
And this one aspect is why I'm pushing so hard to see the enclosed system revealed. Because as a civilization, we seem to be only as good as what we can get away with. This isn't an issue with freedom, it's an issue with doing the right thing. You know that running red lights is a bad idea. The camera is a reminder of that. Imagine all the things that would change for the better if the enclosed system was revealed.
Okay, cut.
Well, you're launching this big ad campaign at a time when there's still a lot of skepticism.
And those who believe the Earth is flat. That demeans them a little bit, but it's not that far off.
First of all, man, we've got to get all these medieval ideas out there. They're the way for new ideas. Knowledge of man's fabulous discoveries in the centuries ahead.
Hi there, Bird. Oh, hi, Arnie. Guess what I found out? No, I'm reading mainstream science, Arnie. But you want to know the world's actually flat? Crazy.
Costa Bazooka. She's a round, she's a firm, she's a fully packed.
You know how to fly those?
Absolutely. Do you get to fly to the edge?
Oh, yeah.
What's past there?
Don't know. We're not allowed to fly past that.
Let's go.
It's against the rules.
Taking an idea I got from a Stephen King book, I'm going to cover this town with a dome!
It's been done!
Really? Did you know about this?
What's this? Cinderella's ball?
But Bird, you gotta open your mind too, you know? I know that my authorities tell me what I need to know in this book, okay?
That'll be a great advantage.
Not Patrick, indeed. If the boy goes about saying the world is round, they'll take him for a lunatic.
The world is round? Yes, that's right. And it also goes around.
Oh yeah, the giver. When the elders need guidance, I provide wisdom using memories of the past. Our world was different. There was more. More? Much more. There is no way for me to prepare you. It's the truth.
Why you put them rats in my locker, man?
I thought it would put things in perspective for you.
No, Kay, it's actually kind of sad, man, really. We need to let them out of there. I mean, they need to know the world is bigger than that. I'm still a rookie.
You're a globehead, Bo. What do you mean, globehead? You see, you think that the world's a sphere spinning 1,000 miles an hour in its axis. But that's the truth. They tell me in books. Are you completely crazy?
No, I just want to stand on top of the wall and piss off the edge of the world.
You mean it'll be round someday?
No, it's round now. Man will discover this in centuries to come. And he will also find that the world is merely a tiny speck in the universe. She's around the back of my head. She's flat like your head.
Mom.
All right. To start off, I want you to read these. All that? That, my boy, is a mountain of knowledge.
But I can't read.
What? And I don't suppose you know how to write?
No, sir.
What do you know?
Well,
Well, never mind. We'll start at the bottom.
Wow, Neil Armstrong!
Hey, wait a minute. You're supposed to be on the moon. I just saw it on TV.
Oh, there's a tape delay and with all solar winds.
It's a 20,000-foot sheer wall of ice. But that's never stopped me before. Risk? Of course I'm aware of the risks. Thank you for your concern.
What if everything you've been taught your entire life about the planet you live on is a complete lie? The powers that are in control are backed by evil, and they will stop at nothing to remove the possibility of a creator or God. They created the Big Bang and evolution, and if you believe in those two things, then the existence of a God is destroyed. This is not the earth that you live on.